Norris of fishingnetwork.com, and today we're going to be talking about bass fishing rivers. Now, if you've noticed, the wind is a little strong, and I'm right next to the highway. Who would have thought that's right next to this beautiful little part of the Charles River Esplanade? But it is part of a river here called the Charles River in Boston, Massachusetts. It's actually in the inner city. If you look, the city is right there. Boom, all of it. This keeps going all the way to the ocean, to down past near where I live, and past all the great colleges like BU and Harvard, MIT. You might have heard of them. And if you're near or on a river that's just like this, there are certain things you need to do. Now, right now, it's finally a warmer day in fall, not the 30s and 40s I've been getting with the wind, and it's miserable. And I told you beforehand, when the weather makes an abrupt change like that, the fish shut down. So I went where I was supposed to go, the bridge abutments, as prescribed by the local pros at catching bass and striped bass and other things in the river and also in the ocean. And they both said the same thing. And I learned that you have to do the exact same thing when you're bass fishing on rivers. During this point of time, and particularly during the fall, fish gets slower. A bass gets slower, the bait fish gets slower, all of them. Why? Because they're cold-blooded fish, and they have to slow down. And they can't be fighting in the current, they can't be overly attacking things, unless it's the fall or the spring. But it doesn't happen for a very long time. So when you're fishing at work, you only have like an hour or so to do those things. You have to really cut down on where you focus your fishing. So on this river, there aren't really many turns or streams or estuaries that really branch off of it. It's like a single stream for like 20 miles. And then there's small segments further up above like 8 or 9 dams. Where I am now, there's maybe 3 bends. And those bends aren't like sharp, and there's a couple bridges. So honestly, before you reach that super salty brackish water, which pretty much no one tries to catch freshwater fish in because they just aren't there, maybe you can get some perch or some other larger fish like a striper or a bluefish trying to come in and come after the bait fish. Other than that, you can't go anywhere near that place. So when there isn't much happening on your river, what do you do about bass fishing? Well, you have to focus on what's there and what is not there. What we know is there are bridges, and bridges have bridge abutments. They slow down the actual speed of the river. So you'll always find a bass or some perch or some crappie or some catfish sitting behind there. Now, they may not be as active as you want them to be. They're not going to pop up and go after your topwater lure or even a spinnerbait, but you'll have to enact the bite. And that requires slowing down. And when you think you've slowed down enough, it honestly isn't enough. Slow down some more. And then you think you've slowed down enough, slow down some more. And when you think you've slowed down enough, slow down even more. That's what the bass want. They want something easy, they want it in their face, and they want it when they're, mildly hungry, or it's just too good to give up. One of the lures that will make this happen is a crankbait. More specifically, because they're near a bridge abutment, there's usually some form of structure that's next to it, and you want to dive your crankbait into it and just like knock it, hit it, makes a sound, gets their attention, and once you hit it, make a slight pause and let the crankbait rise a little bit, or you at least stay in the same zone. And when that happens, the fish will come to it if it doesn't require too much energy, and then it'll just be sitting in front of them. And that's when they're going to strike. You might not even feel it. They're not going to take it and run. You're going to grab it, taste it, put it in your mouth, and then you have to feel that, one, the line's not moving anymore. It's not going up, it's not going down, it's not going backwards. And you're going to have to keep a nice taut line when you're lured to get those feels, typically on a crankbait. You can do the same thing with a spinnerbait as well. They're harder to get down to deeper levels below like 5 feet or so. But you can also work another great thing, which is jigs. Jigs are made to go slow, and when you really need to slow down and work a piece of cover or a small section of river where you know those largemouth bass are, you have to slow it down. Now, I don't actually have any on me, but if you have some jigs with some a little bit of pig on the those little pig skins, you can put on the back, and even a trailer hook, because they're really gonna be tasting it. They're not gonna like engulf the thing unless they're starving, which probably isn't gonna happen. But since it's the fall, there's bayfish roaming around, and during the early morning periods and during the heat of the day, when it's the warmest of the day, which is what they want when it's cold, when it gets cold, they're going to be chasing the bayfish. There'll be the larger ones will be under the bayfish, and also to the sides, waiting for the easy meals to come out and try to get isolated. They don't want to go in the middle and like attack things. If you're casting to the middle or the front of a bayfish school, you're gonna get those little tiny ones that have all the aggression, all the small ones that want to like say, hey, I'm here, I'm hungry, woohoo! I got so much energy, I'm so young, got so much youth. I used to have youth. Now I've slowed down as well. I'm gonna be on the side and under the fishes. If I was a largemouth bass. And there's also a worm as well. The worm never goes bad. Worms are great. And you can slow them down. You can use different styles. You can use the Texas style rig. You can use the Carolina rig, which is great for deeper water because it allows the fish to actually take it and pull on it and not have that weight that kind of like throws it off like, hey, this worm is a little heavier than it should be. I'm like, I love a big worm, but it ain't this big. It must be a lure, and they spit it out. So they grab that worm and it's like no tension at all. They're like, hey, free meal, baby. And then you give a little tension and boom, you know they're there, and they have no time to react and let it go. That's the great thing about the Carolina rig. Also, you can cover a lot of space. You can also just drag it behind the boat. That's also a technique if you have that available to you. But right now I'm on the shore, so I do a lot of shore fishing. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. I know a lot of you have access to a boat, and that's freaking fantastic. If you have a pond or a lake or even a river like this, and you have your boat, it's locked up, or you have a friend or a buddy that you can put that boat next to their house, or even if you have you're renting a space, it's like, hey, can I get my boat here for a small fee? And they're like, sure, we're not doing anything with that spot. And bam, you're fishing to work every day. Get your time in, get your fish in, have a great time. I know that all rivers are different. There are gigantic rivers where you really need to know what's going on above and below the water. You have to know about the wind, you have to know about the temperature, you have to know about what kind of season it is, you have to know if it's the fall turnover, and then as underwater, you have to know about the pH, you have to know about underwater structure, and you have to know if what kind of baitfish or other forage that you have and where they're likely to be, because that's where the bass are going to be as well. And if you're fishing at work, you may only have access to part of the river. And maybe your part of the river, ironically, isn't the part where they're at. That's the way it always is. So what do you do about that? Well, honestly, I don't know how you can get to some place that you can't get to within a reasonable amount of time. What you can do is make your setup a little different. Maybe you can find a way to get to that other side, or maybe at least do some testing. Hey, it took me 20 minutes to get over there. That really only leads me about 20 minutes to fish if I have an hour. It takes you 20 minutes, I get my fish in, and I have to roll out real fast. Is that good enough for me? It's always good to test. That's what I always say. If you aren't testing something, then how do you really know? Maybe you think it's going to be a half an hour and you'll just go there, look around for a second, and then come back. But what if it didn't? Maybe the traffic's light. Maybe that bus ride or walk is shorter than you think. Maybe you can eat very easily while you're on the move. Maybe you just want to go there and hang out for a while and just learn some things about the area. Maybe it isn't as great as you think. Maybe that new spot isn't that cool. But that's just one of the things you have to think about when you're doing bass fishing on rivers. Each one is different. The flow is different. The amount of brackish water that you have is different. You could be way, way up a river and not even have an inkling of salt. But where I've fished here on the Charles River and on the Potomac River, there's plenty of brackish water, and the striped bass will come in to chase the fish every year. So I have a lot of access to saltwater fish that normal people don't, and that's something to be envied. But maybe you don't have that. Maybe you only have catfish. Maybe you only have catfish and bass and crappie, and that's all you have to deal with. And that's cool. You should become an expert at that and make sure that you're constantly testing everything while you're bass fishing rivers or catfishing rivers or crappie fishing rivers, because every day is different, every spot is different, every season's different, every day there's different temperature, every day the water pH is changing, every season there's something weird happening, and you might catch a bass one day at the same spot, and then the next day another bass, and then another different one. You know, like, okay, are these things roaming, or are they just hanging out in the cover and they're just switching it up? I'm the big guy today, I'm the alpha today, and then I'm the alpha today, depending on when you catch them. There's just this weird thing like that. But, you know, I'm starting to ramble now and not really sticking to bass fishing on rivers. And that's really all there is to it. It's just really a lot of testing. It's like most other places. I do have some great information that is more, you know, put together. And that is my How to Catch More Bass PDF, which I've just created. I've made a nice little page you can go to on the website, and you can click there, you can enter your email, and you'll get this 45-page document on how to catch more fish, how to catch bigger fish, no matter where you are, and you get to learn all about how fish work, how they attack the bait, why they eat certain things, what you should do when you're on a river like this, or on a pond, or on a pothole, or on a mud pit, or on a big gigantic lake, or in a small little estuary, or whatever else there is to fish on. Even like clear water lakes where you know you're going to catch a lot of largemouth bass and they can see you. You can see them and they can see you. What do you do about that? I have all those answers in that PDF, and if you enter your email, you can get that. I will have that information down below. You can click on the links. I also have relevant links to bass fishing down below as well. So you can go to all the different bass fishing videos I have and learn incrementally about what you should do when you're bass fishing, and also when you're bass fishing while at work, like I am right now. And there's also the 10-step process to go fishing at work PDF, where I teach you how I had this problem of not being able to fish, and I did some testing and I solved my problem. And I have that process in 10 steps. I was throwing my hand up twice to make 10. And you can get that too by also giving me your email address, and then you'll get the PDF. And you'll also be put on the email where I'll be providing even more valuable information about fishing for basically anything, and also doing it at work. And when you're doing it at work, there's other things to talk about other than fishing. There's things to talk about getting set up, about what to buy, if you need to get the proper gear. You can't put like that surf rod in your backpack and bring it to work and like, hey dude, nice surf rod. And if you want to have that conversation, cool. And if you don't, then maybe you need a smaller rod that's more compact, like a telescoping rod or some kind of collapsible rod or a folding rod, and you need particular lures that you can fish on a certain day. So there's a lot of planning involved, because you can't do everything all day, because you only have an hour, or maybe you have more. So yeah, go down below, subscribe if you like this channel, click like, make a comment, and if you do make a comment, I have a new thing I'm going to try to do. I'm going to be making video replies, and I'll just make a video. I'll actually make it public if it's a good question, and I'll link you to that in your comments. So you'll be like, hey, he didn't just write some words, he wrote me a video. I mean, he wrote me a video. He made a video answering my question. That's pretty cool. Thanks for the extra effort, Dwight. So, I'm Dwight Norris of fishnetwork.com. Now you go out there and get fishing.